Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Raina Mo's DIY and It Designs. Today, we're going to follow along with the bridal bouquet, and I'm going to teach you how to make the groom's lapel boutonniere. So if this is something that interests you, keep on watching. So what we're going to do is focus on a bride who's on a very tight budget, who purchased her flowers out of the grocery store, and we're going to build the boutonniere on that basis, just like we built the bridal bouquet on that basis. So everybody knows you have to start with a base, and a base on a boutonniere is greenery of some sort, and usually it's leather leaf. Sometimes people will use eucalyptus, or they'll use I think it's a Italian ruscus. But me, to save costs, the greenery that we had was natural greenery from the roses, so I'm going to use a rose leaf. And I'm just going to take the bottom two leaves off because I don't want that. The next thing you do is you choose the flower that you want to use. Now, I want to use 2 heads of flowers. I want to bring out this beautiful color of this carnation that's in the color scheme, and I'm going to use a pop of color with the roses that we have here. So what you would do is you would pick either the smallest bud or the most tightly compact bud, because your carnation is such a full flower. So I'm going to choose this particular bud because it has a short body, and I'm just going to go ahead and snip it here. And I'm going to take off any petals that are bruised or have discoloration and make it an even tighter bud. And remember, save your rose petals because those cost almost as much as $20 to $50 for a bag. Well, if you can recycle the ones that you have, you can probably have enough. If you're making the bride's bouquet and all of the bridal party a smaller but still full bouquet, you can save all of the guard petals that you take off of your roses for the flower girl's basket, and you'll have enough, because you just teach the flower girl to put a couple of petals down instead of handfuls thrown, especially when we're on a budget, because you know the petals are really only for the bride anyway. So at least that's in my mindset. So basically you take your flower, and I want this rose to be a focal point. So I'm just going to place it on top of the leaf, like so. Now, some people will wire their roses, but because I'm going to keep costs down and I'm going to keep the difficulty level down, I'm not going to wire this rose. When I do another flower bouquet, which will probably be closer to my wedding, like when I do my own, I'm going to show you those more difficult, intricate steps on how to wire your rose. But for now, it's just, hey, this is something that somebody needs to do, because the groom's not going to wear this more than a few hours anyway. Whereas with the bouquet, you know, that bride's going to be looking at that thing, smelling it, just, you know, she's going to get more use out of the bouquet than she would the boutonniere. So next, and also she could throw it, but I wouldn't. I would find a fake one or make a fake one and throw that. So you have your centerpiece, your focal point of your boutonniere, and then you can decide where you want to put your other bud. You can have it underneath so that it'll sit on the lapel like this. You can have it crisscross to the side so that it sits like this, but just a little bit lower. I'm hoping that you guys can see that. Or you can actually place it to the other side, whichever way you feel, whichever way makes you feel content. And I think that I want to actually place mine side by side underneath each other. So once you've done that, you're grasping the leaf, you're grasping the rose and the carnation, and then we're going to use our tape. So the next thing that I'm going to do before I tape it is I'm going to take a popsicle stick. And the reason that I'm taking the popsicle stick is because this particular rose leaf is a little bit floppy, and I want to give it a little bit of support. So I'm just going to take the popsicle stick and I'm going to place it at the back like so, just to give it a little bit of support, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut it down and tape it. Stick giving the back leaf some support, and you'll notice that it's not going all the way up the leaf. I only need it here for the joint of the leaf. And I have my rose, and now I have my carnation, and now I have my tape. And I'm just going to begin to tape this together, starting at the base of the carnation. If you wanted to, you could secure the rose first and then add the carnation. But like I said, I'm just showing how you can do it really, really quick, because I know there are a lot of brides out there that don't have lots of time to spend on floral arranging. And so this is just a really quick way in which to do it. Also, by having the popsicle stick, it helps you to keep everything in alignment as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and snip off the rest of that popsicle stick because I don't need it all the way down the shaft of the boutonniere. And go ahead and continue to tape down the boutonniere. Making sure that I cover the popsicle stick and any edges that it has, because we don't want anyone to have any splinters or any little cuts or anything on that. And we tear our tape, and you have a finished boutonniere. The next step excuse me, to this boutonniere is if you wanted to add a little bit of ribbon. So that's our next step. This is some ribbon that I picked up from none other than the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to snip this. And I think this ribbon is so beautiful because it's got the blushy tone to it with a little bit of gold. So I'm just going to use it. Snip off a little piece. If you wanted to just tie a little bow around the bottom of it, you can, but I'm just going to go ahead and just wrap it because I want to hide the greenery. And I'm going to start up a little bit of a ways, and you saw that floppy leaf that's here. I'm going to position it as I want, and since I'm bringing the ribbon up, I'm going to cover the base arm of that particular leaf so that it will actually sit upright, which is what I want. And then, excuse me y'all this morning, I'm just going to go ahead and just wrap in a spiraling motion down the stem of the boutonniere. And when I come back, I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so here is how our bouquet comes out and looks, and isn't that darling? I am so happy with this. So I just wanted to share a couple of things. Typically with boutonnieres, first of all, we got all of our flowers at a grocery store, and it cost us between $22 and $24 because the roses were $8.99 and I got 2 dozen of those, and then the carnations, I couldn't remember if they were $4 or $6. So for like $24, basically $22 to $24, we were able to get a bridal bouquet out of it. We're able to get a boutonniere for the groom out of it, and we're going to be able to get a mother's corsage out of this for the groom as well as for the bride. That's pretty good compared to paying $50+ for a bridal bouquet and however much they're going to charge you for the boutonniere as well as all the other bouquets that you'll need and your corsages. Another tip is make sure that whatever pin it is that you're going to use, that you go ahead and attach it to the boutonniere, because there's nothing like the day of the wedding and you're looking for the box of pins. That shouldn't happen. Have the pin already through your boutonniere. That way you're good to go. You can take it out of the box, take it out of the container, and go ahead and pin it to the lapel. And isn't that gorgeous? That is so gorgeous. That is too gorgeous. I really, really like that. Another tip, you can make your floral arrangements as far as for the groom's lapel and your bridal bouquet and everything about no more than 2 days before the event. It's usually good to do it maybe the day before the event, not the night before the event, but the day before the event, and then keep them in the refrigerator so that they stay nice and fresh. But you have to get your flowers and make sure you pick tight buds that are firm. If they're kind of soft and mushy, don't get them, because that means that the roses are not fresh. That means the roses have been around for a while. So you want to make sure that you get nice firm buds when you go to the grocery store or wherever it is that you get them from. And you want to get them like 5 days prior to when you need them, maybe 7, but I would say for sure 5 days. You snip them, you put them in warm water that has already had the flower food added to it, because they need that nutrition. And you need to be adding fresh water to the vessels that are keeping your flowers fresh each day if you're keeping them out. If you're keeping them in the refrigerator, they're not going to open up. So they have to be kept out. Once you do your final product, that's when you put them in the refrigerator. And it should be a couple of days, because you want them to be beautiful and you want them to be fresh, but you don't want to do them last minute because that adds stress. So on that note, if you like this tutorial, please give us a thumbs up. Comment down below, because you know I love the comments and I read every last one and I respond to every last one. Also share. Please share this video with any friends, families, people that you meet, that you happen to get into a conversation about floral arrangements or anything, because you never know who needs the extra help and who really needs to save that extra little bit of money. And on that note, have a wonderful evening. Bye.